right? So you want to start losing weight to get healthier. You want to look better. You're probably perimenopausal, postmenopausal. This video is for you. I'm going to show you exactly how we took my client, and she basically has lost 10 kilos over the last 17-ish weeks. And she looks fantastic. So we've officially hit her healthy waist target, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But if you're new here, you've never seen me before, my name is Shannon. I'm an online weight loss coach, and I help people every single day achieve incredible transformations, and we make this whole process as easy and simple as possible. So please subscribe. So let's get stuck straight into it. This is a step-by-step guide of exactly what my client did. So this is currently the results that we achieved in the last 17 weeks. We are actively right now in the middle of a diet break, and then we're going to do another push to see if we can try and get leaner just before the warmer weather hits here in Australia. So here is my current client. These are her personal details. So she's 46 female, 165 centimeters tall. Her starting weight in kilos was 82. Now, the activity modifier that we originally had her down for was light exercise 1 to 3 times a week, because her training was only going to be a couple of days per week. However, she did end up absolutely smashing her steps. She did end up getting about 10 to 12,000 steps a day. So this could actually potentially be a little bit higher, but that's all in hindsight now. But her starting waist in circumference wise was 90.5. Her recommended healthy waist target is 75.9. So my objective as a health and weight loss coach is to get someone to this number. I don't care how much weight you want to lose. Now, yes, we do track weight, and yes, we want to see the weight go down. And yes, at the end of the day, if you have 10, 15 kilos to lose, 20 pounds, eventually that's going to come off on the scale. So we do want to track that. But I always say to my clients, if you are becoming a smaller person, the tape measure is going to go around you tighter on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So I will always, always, always take a measurement loss around the waist any or every single day of the week. So this is her target for her healthy waist measurement, and she's currently at 90. So she's got at least 10, 15 centimeters to lose to get down to her healthy. Now, I put in here an estimated goal weight, and this is just to help me base our protein targets on, which I'll touch on in a moment. But these are some basic stats. So her BMR calories is about 1460 a day, just to lay in bed, keep the lights on, functioning, just breathing, laying there, doing nothing. And then her maintenance calories estimated based on this activity was about 2000 calories a day. It's probably a little bit higher than that, but close enough is good enough. So this is her starting information. So her recommended protein target was 100 grams a day. She didn't end up quite getting to 100, but that's okay. Carbohydrates and fats really don't bother me. I really don't care where these fall, and we didn't even really track these per se. But we do have what's called a calorie range. So here is a calorie ceiling, and here is a calorie floor. As long as I have a client and they're within these ranges, they largely get to pick and choose how aggressive they want to go. So because she has a fair bit of fat to lose and she's in the obese or overweight to obese category, she can go quite aggressive with her deficit. So for example, she's currently sitting here. So in that 33 to 39% body fat. So probably somewhere in and around this range here. So the optimal deficit is based on how fat you are, without being derogatory. It's just purely objective. How fat are you? She's 30 to 50%. So we base her recommendations and her range between 30 to 50%. So her calorie ceiling, basically, she shouldn't be any higher than 1400 calories a day. She probably shouldn't really be much lower than 1000 calories a day. Okay. For her, the sweet spot was pretty much exactly 1200 calories. And she just basically stuck to the same entire duration of the program, the same entire amount every single day with very minimal deviation. Now, some people are like, Shannon, 1200 calorie diets are starvation diets. Well, we finished our first initial phase and we've literally increased her back up to maintenance calories overnight, no reverse dieting, and she still lost a bit of weight in that first refeed week. So no, starvation diets do not wreck your metabolism. And starvation is obviously a inflammatory word. So we base your body fat percentage off your current body fat, right? So how did we go? So here are the results over the course of the 17 weeks. So we don't fix what isn't broken. If it is working, keep doing what you're doing. 1200 calories a day is a sweet spot for her. She found it just hit her protein, or very close to. She was on average about 90 grams of protein per day. Don't let perfect be the enemy of the good, so to speak. Close enough is usually good enough. We're not trying to be bodybuilders on stage. Later, when she goes back to maintenance calories, eventually we can bump up her protein. So any potential muscle loss that may have happened will come back. So don't stress about it. These were her results over the course of 17 weeks. She pretty much dropped weight every single week without fail. I think there was like maybe 1 or 2 weeks in here where she hovered pretty consistently. However, we take an either or approach. So we always look at objectively, did you lose weight this week? Now, I always have clients weigh themselves daily, first thing in the morning, butt naked on the scale, before you eat or drink anything, and go to the toilet first, preferably if you can. Now, when clients do that, we take the 7 days and then divide it by 7, and then you get the weekly average. So the weekly average for her was 79.9, and the next weekly average was 78. So we only compare the weekly averages. Now, for whatever reason, if the scale weight didn't go down that week, we then look at the measurements. And again, I always like to see measurements preferably over scale weight. Did the measurements go down, but scale weight didn't? Perfect. Keep going as you are, because you are physically a smaller person and you've lost fat. Now, if her waist measurements didn't go down for any reason and her weight did, another fantastic indicator that you are hitting a new all-time low. Keep going as you're going. Don't change anything. All right. So people freak out if something doesn't head, if you don't drop every single week, especially in the scale. So there can be any number of reasons why the scale doesn't budge. So either or approach. Did you lose weight, and or did you lose off your waist, specifically small waist for women, belly button waist for men? And she annihilated this. So just 1200 calories. On average, she got about 10 to 12,000 steps per day. She did a few weight training sessions per week. No necessarily dedicated cardio was needed. She just stuck to her calories, and she hit a new all-time low here of 69.6. And then by the end of the 17 weeks, we officially hit her healthy waist target. We actually got just a tad below that, so 75.5. So as you can see here, this is where we want to get her for healthy. So technically, once you are healthy, my job is done. I like to say, I've done my job. I've gotten you out of risk of the nasty stuff, diabetes, various cancers, heart disease, cardiovascular disease, etc. Right? Now, past this number, this is the cusp. I don't want anyone above this number. It is your obligation to get to healthy at the bare minimum. All right. Once you are healthy, I do encourage you to get lower, because you want to create some buffer room, right? So the first phase of any program is to get to healthy, technically as fast as you can handle, all right? Depending on how many centimeters you need to lose, on average, most people can lose somewhere around a centimeter per week. A half a centimeter, sometimes a bit more than a centimeter. But let's say you have 10 centimeters to lose to get down to this number. It may take you about 10-ish weeks. It could be minimum 10, could be maximum 20. Depending in that range, right? So once you're here, because she had dieted longer than 12 weeks, we did take a diet break. And this is exactly where she's at the moment. She's taken her diet break. We've increased her calories back up to maintenance. Her maintenance is roughly about 1900 calories, so it really didn't change much from where she was here. And she lost weight still in that first maintenance week. The goal is to have a 2-week diet break. And then from the 2-week diet break, we're going to do one of two things. We're either going to get halfway between these two numbers and then potentially take one more diet break and then see how she feels. And she might want to push for this number here. And this bottom number here, by the way, is about 17 to 20% body fat. Doesn't mean you have to achieve this, but anything below this number is recommended. Probably don't go below this number, because especially for women, that's when you run into like health issues and menstrual cycle issues. Or at least the chance of running into those is potentially much higher. But for women, this is about 17 to 20% body fat. And for men, this is very close to that 10 to 12% body fat range on this low number here. So I don't really like seeing most people go below that number. Unless you're a bodybuilder on stage, you probably don't have to anyway. And you'd be better looking than 99% of the population, at least from a vanity perspective. So you basically, for guys, you're going to have visible abs at that point. And for women, you're going to be very close. So I like to do this in chunks. I like to probably push for about another 8 weeks before we take another diet break. And then if she still isn't happy with how she is, if she has personal vanity reasons that she wants to get even leaner, nothing wrong with that at all, then you do one more push. And that's it. Once you get down to these low targets, you just maintain your weight forever, right? There is a stabilization phase I like to include at the very end of a dieting program that usually goes for about 4 weeks to really just lock in the weight, just maintain that as closely as you can without any major fluctuations whilst eating about your maintenance calories. And then depending on the person, most people don't really need to go through the whole bulking phase, especially if you just want to maintain a leaner physique. But guys sometimes do. They want to go through more of a mass gaining phase. But if you're just kind of the person who's always struggled with their weight, it's always been overweight, you really don't need to worry about that. More often than not, most people just end up gaining weight slowly over time anyway. You're best off just trying to maintain your weight pretty consistently thereafter. So that is exactly how we did it. Nothing crazy. It was just a very consistent 1,250 calories a day, 10 to 12,000 steps, a couple of weight training sessions per week, and she lost weight every single week because she was super diligent with everything. She checked in every single week with our coaching, and she looks fantastic. So I'll hopefully update you again in the next 14 to 28 weeks and give you an update in terms of where she ends up once she decides that she wants to finish and no longer wants to lose any more fat. But this is exactly what you do. So if you found this helpful, if you like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you need help with this, if you want me to do this for you, send me a message. I have client spaces open and available currently at the time of making this video. All the links will be in the description below. And if you have any questions about the process, just pop them in the comments below and I'll answer as many questions as I can. And that is all, guys. Just so you know, I do this for a living, as you can see, just a couple of clients, just a very small fraction of people who I've worked with over the last 15 years of coaching. So if you're interested in the system, the Healthy Waist Target system, how to lose weight, I want to say effortlessly, but as simple as possible, in a very structured, meticulous way, that's what we do. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.